Hello again. The next part of my presentation is about specifically understanding the Key Stage 4 curriculum at Rickard's Lodge and how how students will apply for what they want to do in that and the different courses that they will cover. I will go through this again with you with more detail in our meeting, either face-to-face or online in February that I talked about on my last presentation. So on all of these slides, you're going to see a yellow triangle, or on many of these slides, you're going to see a yellow triangle. And everything I'm going to share with you at the moment is correct and is what we plan to do and what we currently do, but it's always subject to government changes. If there are any major changes in what they expect in terms of GCSEs and BTEC courses for students, we may then make changes to our provision, but I'll keep you 100% up to date with that as we go along. So at the moment in year 7, 8 and 9, all students basically study the same range of subjects, the complete range of subjects, with the only difference being whether they take French, German or Spanish. But from year 10 and 11, that's not true. So some subjects are core subjects for all students. So all the students will take 2 GCSEs in English, English language and English literature. They will all take mathematics GCSE. They will all take sciences. They all cover biology, chemistry and physics in either 2 or 3 separate GCSEs, and I'll talk about that in a few slides' time. They all take religious studies GCSE. We've kept that as part of our core because the analytical and debating skills within that particular course are hugely useful for their English course and also extremely useful for lots of the kind of A-level subjects that students like to do post-16. They all continue with PSHE, and it's relevant, designed to be relevant for that particular year group, and they all keep going with their core PE lessons. So all of year 10 and 11 study those subjects. Then there are other subjects that some students do and others don't, and I'll go through that now. It's important to also know that they're not in their current tutor groups or their learning groups for any of the lessons. So when students move into year 10, the whole French side of the timetable versus the Spanish side of the timetable thing disappears. So the students that have been in the top set, for example, on the French side of the timetable and the top set on the Spanish side of the timetable will find themselves perhaps in set 1 and 2 in the new year 10 groups, but more about that in February. But they're not taught in their current learning groups or in their tutor groups for any of their lessons. So what are the extra core subjects? Well, approximately 60% of our year 10 students, mostly from 9R, C, S and L, must also study a GCSE in French, German or Spanish, carrying on with the subject that they've been doing now, and either GCSE history or GCSE geography as part of their core studies. For science, they study the triple separate sciences, so 3 GCSEs, 1 in biology, chemistry and 1 in physics. They then get 2 additional courses from the long choice of option subjects, which I come on to later in this presentation. The students in the top maths set, and sometimes from set 2, also get the chance to take GCSE further maths. The other 40% of students in year 10, they have additional lesson time per fortnight in English and maths, because this maximises their opportunities to achieve well in these subjects. And they're the key to progression at post-16. You need good English and maths grades, whatever you want to do with your future. And students that have this extra time in English and maths often go on to get top grades. They study combined science, so that's 2 GCSEs that cover all 3 sciences, biology, chemistry and physics. And if they get the good grades in that, they're still able to go on and do A-levels in science. You don't have to do triple science to do A-levels in science. What you need is grade 6s and above in your science GCSEs to do A-levels in science. In addition, they also choose 1 GCSE subject from the following list as part of their extended core. So they choose 1 from history, geography, French, German or Spanish. They must choose 1. They can actually do more than that because those subjects also all appear in the additional courses on the option list, which I will show you later in the presentation. So it's about 60% of them have to do some subjects and 40% of them have this choice from the humanities and from languages. Within that 40%, there are then a small number of students who do something slightly different. So for our students for whom English is not their first language and who are still receiving support in year 9 from our EAL staff, They will have additional lesson time with the EAL team, Mr. Burns and Miss Howson, focusing on developing their English skills and the ones particularly needed to succeed in all their GCSE and BTEC courses, with a specific focus on their English language and literature, maths and combined science work. But actually, those staff work on supporting them with the skills they need for all of their Key Stage 4 courses. They also have to choose a subject from history, geography, French or Spanish. None of those students currently do German. And these students get 2 additional free choices instead of 3 from the option subjects list. Another small group of our CEDA-based students, they get even more time in English and maths. They basically have English and maths pretty much every day with our specialist team in the CEDA base. And that focuses even more on developing those skills to supplement what they need for everything they're going to do. And as I said before, because your English and maths results open the doors for you for what you're going to do next. These students get 2 additional courses from the options list. So what are the options? We have a really large range of option subjects available to all students in addition to their core subjects. They have 2 or 3 free choices from the list, as I've described in the last few slides. And I'm very jealous that I didn't get to choose from some of these when I was at school. So this is the range that we have on offer currently. You'll see there are a combination of GCSE and BTEC courses, and the BTEC courses are all GCSE equivalent, and I'll explain that more in a moment. And you'll also see that geography, history and the languages appear on the option choices as well. So it's perfectly possible for students to study history and geography, or to study 2 languages if they're fluent in one of the other languages as well as the one that they're studying. In addition to this, if the students are fluent in a home language where there is a GCSE available in that language, and by fluent I mean both speaking and reading and writing, then they can attend a Period 6 class once a fortnight to develop the exam techniques you need for the GCSE in that subject, which they traditionally take at the end of year 10, so that they're not worrying about that when they come to do their other subjects at the end of year 11. But as you can see, it's a really long list of choices. Sadly, often I hear people talk about BTECs not being as valuable as GCSEs, and that's simply not true in terms of progression onto what you might want to do post 16, and it's also not true at post 18. So I just wanted to share this with you to help you see the way that that works. In terms of points, the GCSEs that students are taking now are all what we call the 9-to-1 GCSEs, with 9 being the top grade and 1 being the low grade, but them all being passes. Now, if you still remember the old style GCSEs where it was in letters, as you can see, a 4 is an old style C with a 5 being a kind of upper C. And then all the other course grades you can see mapped across to that middle column, with 9 being a grade that was higher than the old A star. The BTEC courses are also graded to match across with those. So a level 2 distinction star in BTEC, which lots of our students that take BTECs get, is the equivalent to an 8 in GCSE, with a level 2 distinction being a 7, a level 2 merit a 6, and so on as you go through. The details of all the courses that we run can be found on our website. And again, you can click on the document that is below this video and click on where it says here, and that will take you directly to the curriculum pages on our website. You can click through each subject and look at their Key Stage 4 curriculum, and you'll see the details of what those courses are like as they stand at the moment. There's always a chance we might change which exam syllabus we're going to do with the current year 9s when they get to year 10, but I will let you know that in February if there's been any changes. Thank you for listening. There's a part 3 which talks about them thinking about what they might want to do post 16 and post 18. Thank you.